Okay, I'm back. So I've explained to you what happens in the drum here. So I'm gonna tell you just what everything is on the outside of the drum. Again, you have your 1.5" check valve here. Remember, this is on some union type fittings with an O-ring seal. So make sure these are tight. Otherwise it will leak out of here and you can lose pressure. So make sure top one is really important here. Make sure that's tight. This is your plug for your pump, your sump pump there. Again, 120 volts. Try to make sure that's on a GFI protected circuit. If not, make sure you got a good ground on there. And then on the back side here, you've got your high level, which plugs into the high level water shutdown for the blower here. You'll also see on top here, I have a couple of spare fittings. If you want to change these to 90s, when you get them, that's fine. You can go right ahead and do that. This hose here, I leave this long. I don't know how you guys are setting this equipment, where you're setting it, what you're setting it on, so I leave you a little extra hose there. You can go ahead and trim this hose if you want. You do not need any type of hose clamp here. What I do is I'll just take some silicone and I put some silicone around the little barb fittings, and then I just shove that down on the barb. Makes it real good seal there, and it makes it really easy to service if you ever have to service it. So I provide you with this bad boy clamp here to seal the drum if you want to. You do not have to use this. I just provide it because they come with it. You will also get a small ratchet strap to hold this down wherever you have it, and a couple of tie downs there. That's how most people do this. Once the system gets under vacuum, this lid will seal up there anyways, so you don't really have to worry about it. This is just like extra precaution. And then if you use the ratchet strap that I provide to hold this down, that'll give you even more. And it'll hold it down wherever you have it stored or secured, I'm sorry. So here's your blower, GX630 vacuum. This has a low oil circuit on it, so check your oil every day when you're checking the check valve and the hole in the discharge there. Make sure your oil level is where it needs to be. Gasoline tank here. There is a vent on here. Before you use the machine, open this vent up, otherwise it'll create a vacuum in your tank and it'll suck your tank in and obviously get to the point where it will stop working. It takes normal 87 octane gasoline. You don't need anything special, no ethanol fuel, anything like that. Over here you have the blower. Obviously the GX630 drives the blower. There's some belts back there which drive the blower. You'll see some stuff here. It says lubricate daily. You're going to get some manuals. Read your manuals. I want you to know exactly how all this stuff works and how you need to maintain it. I'm purposely not going over stuff because I want you to read in the manual. So you'll see here this says lubricate daily. There are some grease zerk fittings on the back of the blower there. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for this. The lubricate daily thing here is when you are done using this, I will provide you with some spray penetrant. It is a non-flammable penetrant. It is called Slickway. What you're gonna do is you're gonna spray that right in here for about 30 seconds to a minute. That'll displace any moisture that may have made its way into here, and then it also coats the rotors and the housing inside and provides some protection from rusting. The tolerances within this blower are very tight. I mean, really tight. So this thing will heat up. Don't be afraid. That's just how it goes. It creates heat. Anything that compresses air, compresses anything, creates heat. When you have compression, you get heat. So don't be alarmed if you touch this and it's hot. It's just the nature of the beast. Likewise, like I was saying, the tolerances are tight in there. So if there's moisture left in there, if you forget to lubricate this before the end of the day, I like to tell people anytime you shut it down, do it just for extra protection. But if you forget to lubricate this thing can flash rust in here and it can actually lock in place. There are some things you can do to try and remedy that if that does happen, but just take your spray and spray it down there every time and you'll be fine. Over here, I just have a cap on your secondary fitting. Most people use these with 400 feet of hose. So you have the option to expand this in the future if you want to. When you get this piece is not going to be glued in here. This will be separately, obviously, because it makes the crate too high. So just take some glue this thing in place. You can glue it any way you want to glue it. I suggest just gluing it at 90 degrees. to the T there. So real simple, what you're gonna do here, you've got a battery down there. I got some clamps on it. If you wanna leave these clamps in place, you can. I have this secured to the crate here via some screws down there. So if you want to use that battery box, pull it out, or pull the battery out, pull the screws out, and then you can put the box wherever you want. Little clamp or a little strap here will hold the cover in place. You can take these, cut these off. That's what I suggest you do. Cut these off and then put some terminals on there and properly terminate it at the battery. That's the best course of action there. But if you want to leave it like that, you can go ahead and do that. I do that for testing and it works fine. Not a big deal. Start this real easy. Check your oil. Make sure your fuel level's where it needs to be. Open up your vent valve on there. Pull your choke. I bring my throttle up a little off idle and then turn the key on, start. As soon as it starts, it's idling well. You can push your choke in, bring your throttle up, boom, you're good to go. So I don't know what it is about these Honda engines, but it seems like even when they're hot, they need to be choked to start. There's an hour meter on here. It'll tell you how long your system's been running. This is the remote ignition. All the information on this, again, is listed in your owner's manual. Check that for oil types, grease types. Everything is in, everything that you're going to need to know is in there. So once this is started, you will hear this thing will create vacuum. As soon as that thing's running, it's making vacuum, even if it's all the way at idle. What you're gonna do is bring this up to where you want it to be, and you can throttle this according to whatever jobs you're doing. This is your vacuum relief right here. So right now it's open. As soon as you pull this, this will start to close. Now this is basically a throttle. You always have to have air in the system. If you just take this thing's fully closed, you shove your vacuum hose in a big pool of water, you're gonna create an airlock. It's going to lock the vacuum up and shut your engine down. So use this. You'll be able to tell just by the noise, as this creates more and more vacuum to move more and more material, you'll hear it kind of start to bog down. Then you know you're gonna have to come in here and open this up. Another thing, some people, what they do is they'll only run one side, so they'll close that all the way. They'll pull this cap here, and that's basically their equalizer right there. You can do it however you feel. You're the one that's going to be cleaning. You're gonna have the different types of jobs, so you're going to have to be able to adapt this piece of equipment and the way it runs to whatever job you're using. One job is going to require more vacuum than another job. I can't tell you how it's gonna work because I don't clean. I don't know. Again, you're gonna have to toy with this. So use this vacuum relief here to make sure you always have a constant flow of air behind the debris. So you're done using this. First thing I want you to do is come over here, open this up all the way, relieve the vacuum, and then grab your throttle here, push this down so it starts to idle. That'll allow the machine to come down and idle a little bit. You can start cleaning up a little bit. Before you're fully done, come over here, grab your slickway, spray it in here, and you'll see me do this on the operation video. Spray your slickway in there, 30 seconds to a minute. Once that's done, come over here, shut this down. You can wrap everything up and you're good to go. I want to get into the high level circuit over here. Again, you have one in the interceptor drum here. This is all just ran and wired up into the low oil circuit on the Honda engine. So what this is going to do, if one of these is tripped, it's going to send a signal to the ignition to cut off and shut the machine down. You'll know right away when it's shut down. So obviously these are proprietary plugs. They cannot fit anything else, so you can't plug 120 volts in here unless you really go at it to do it. So there's no voltage on this. All this is a switch to ground. It switches to ground and completes the circuit there for the low oil circuit. So don't be worried about any voltage or anything in here. It's not going to happen. Again, I will give you another float so you can put in your tank if you want to use this other switch over here. So if your tank level goes high, it will also shut it down. So when you're done, again, make sure you come over here and close the vent valve on your fuel tank over here. And that's really all there is to it, guys. It's not really difficult, pretty simple. You'll see when you get into the operations video just how easy it is. Everything will come in a crate just like you see it right here. Everything will be marked where it goes with some little tags and some numbers, but the only thing you're gonna have to hook up is this hose here. Again, if you wanna change these fittings out for these straight fittings, go right ahead and do so. Vacuum's gonna come up in here, or I'm sorry, the interceptor drum's gonna come up in here on its side. That'll be disconnected from there too, so it doesn't get damaged. Pop it in, you're good to go. You'll get a couple of laminated drawings too that shows you the circuitry for that, and a little operations thing. So thanks guys. If you have any questions, give us a call or shoot me an email.